Way if Hurricane should knock off the champion Monday night?
From his past performances, we haven't really considered an upset, and we won't consider it until it happens. If it should happen, we'll think about what we're going to do then.
Pete, I think it's rather obvious that a fight of this type that you're planning August 22nd with Floyd Patterson requires a bit of doing. And just how was it done? In other words, how did you convince Floyd Patterson and company that it would be a good idea to have this fight?
Quite a few people played a part in it. I first sold the idea to Joe Gannon, who once fought Floyd Patterson. He in turn checked around Washington, D.C. with his friends to see if they thought he was as crazy as he thought I was at first. And they began to get the idea, and then he presented it to DeMata, who really fell in love with the idea, and we have a fight.
How about a guarantee as far as Floyd Patterson is concerned, financially?
We guaranteed him $250,000. And Cuss told us, he said, you boys go back and raise that money, and you've got a fight. And I'll give you a month to do it.
Rocky Marciano, among other people, has said that there's a world of difference between the best of the amateurs, which you are, and the best of the professionals, which Floyd Patterson apparently is. So how do you rate your chances with Patterson?
Well, I rate them high, or I wouldn't be doing this.
Well,
and some of the reasons why is my strength, my size, and my quick hands, and the fact that I've been trained as a professional since 1950.
Is there any particular style that you're using in your training sessions here at Lake Houston?
That taught to me by George Samaras, my trainer.
I mean, are you watching films? Have you looked at films of Floyd Patterson? Do you plan to watch him on television?
Yes, we'll see the fight. We won't go to New York, though. I think we can learn enough from what he does that night and from what we've seen in the past to adjust accordingly to what he'll do the night we fight him.
Pete, what about the competitive angle to this fight? How many fights has Floyd had? How many have you had lately to get you in trim for a forthcoming fight?
Well, if I recount correctly, Floyd hasn't fought since the last day I fought. And that was, he fought November 30th, and I fought the 1st December. And I was in Australia, and 1 day's difference made it on the same day.
And, of course, your last fight was against the Russian heavyweight champion, and the odds were pretty much against you, but you came through and you knocked him out in the first round?
Yes. He never recovered from the first left hook, and a few others added in with it.
Well, I hope from your point of view that things work out about that well August 22nd. Tell me, after this fight, Pete, do you plan to continue fighting professionally, or will it hinge on the outcome?
If I should win, I'll certainly defend the title, and if I should lose, I'll decide then what I'll do in future bouts. Whether I'll have them or not, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, thank you very much. You've been very, very cooperative and pleasant, Pete.
It's most enjoyable for me. Thank you, and come back again.
Right. Rocky Marciano, when was the first time that you met Pete Rademacher?
About 2 years ago. I met him one night when I was refereeing a boxing match for one of the Army tournaments, and Pete was boxing an exhibition that night, and such a nice, friendly fellow, we struck up a friendship.
Did he tell you at that time any plans that he had?
No, except that he was interested in boxing. He asked a lot of questions about boxing. We talked boxing all night long.
Well, he's very serious about this fight, and I think it's going to be a good one on August 22nd in Seattle, Washington. You plan to be there, I understand, Rocky?
Yes, I do. I like this match, and it's so interesting to me that I just have to be there.
Well, strictly from a boxing angle, what do you think the odds are for the fight as far as Pete Rademacher is concerned?
I really don't know. I'm not looking at it that way. I'm just interested in the match. I'd like to see how much Pete has progressed since when I met him 2 years ago. I haven't seen him since then, and I think that it's just interesting to me.
What sort of strategy do you think Pete will need to in his fight with Patterson?
I really don't know. Pete is a pretty smart boy. I think he has his own plans. I know that if I told him to you here, he probably wouldn't like it. So I'm going to have to try to get away from that one.
Okay. By the way, this atmosphere here at Lake Houston, Georgia, does that sort of make you want to come back and join the heavyweight ranks again, Rocky?
Not quite, but I sure enjoy being around the fight crowd and around the large groups of people. I'm still very much interested in boxing, although I don't think I'll be making a comeback.
What are your